Tools and Twisties, precision tools and performance cars. Hey, today we're going to go over a little bit of an update on the Icon G2 ratchets, particularly with the announcement at SEMA today. We're also going to talk quickly about, again, the Black Friday sale coming up. We're about a week out from the 40% off on Icon ratchets, including the G2. And I think the G2 ratchets are pretty awesome. And they just announced a whole bunch of new G2 ratchets that have not yet been released at SEMA today. So SEMA is the Specialty Equipment Manufacturers Association. It's kind of high performance accessories for cars, but a lot of tool vendors show up there too. And Icon Harbor Freight has a great big booth there. They announced a bunch of stuff, but I'm going to focus on a couple of G2 specific announcements that they made in the Icon G2 lineup, which I think are pretty awesome. So stay tuned and like and subscribe if you want to see more SEMA updates coming up this week, more sale flyers, more tool reviews. This chart is something I threw together. They have not officially announced their ratchets yet. Basically, there's some screen caps from some videos that Harbor Freight released showing their new 1/4 inch lineup and their new 3/8 inch lineup. These are all G2 ratchets, and their new 1/2 inch lineup. And on the bottom of it, you can see the little names, the model numbers of the ratchets. So what I did is I created a chart based on that information and what I already knew about it. And made some good guesses and came up with a chart. There are 29 G2 ratchets now. I think there was 9 previously, so they're basically releasing 20 more ratchets. And while I obviously can't show you the ratchets that aren't yet released, what I did want to show you was a representation of what they've released. And basically, some of these are the Icon G2, and in the Icon G2, they have the fixed head, no flex, and they have the flex head locking. And one thing they just introduced, evidently based on the information that I gleaned from the videos, is a non-locking version of the flex head. And you can tell these from the model numbers. You can see that if there is a K, like R2LKG, R2 means 3/8 inch, L means long, K means locking flex head, and G means comfort grip. So that's actually what this is an R2LKG. And if it was an R2LFG, it would be the same, but not locking flex head. And if it was an R2LG, it would be the same, but no flex head at all. If it doesn't have the G on the end, then it's not the comfort grip, it is the chrome handled grip. So this is an example of a 1/2 inch, extra long Icon, no comfort grip, no flex head. So what they've done is they've announced a bunch of different sizes in 1/4 inch. They have 5 1/4 inch sizes. I had them all laid out here, but they have a stubby. This is not obviously the Harbor Freight stubby. This is a gorgeous little Tone stubby. And this may actually be a little bit stubbier than the new Icon G2 1/4 inch stubby. But that gives you the general idea. And then they have a 1/4 inch in extra small. And again, this is a snap-on version of a dual 80, but what I would consider to be sort of an extra small size, 1/4 inch. And then they have the small, which I don't really have a good representation of here. And then you go into the large, and this is the Icon G2 flex head, comfort grip, large, locking flex head. This is in the large size. And then they have a new XL that they're releasing that will be this and even longer. So that would be maybe something like this length in a 1/4 inch. And again, this is a fixed head, non-comfort grip. And this one also has a quick release. A couple things to note is that in the new Icon G2 lineup, there are no quick releases. Not a single one is quick release. So if you're a fan of quick release, you're out of luck. There's also no, as near as I can tell, compact head versions. Like this is a compact head 1/4 inch, but there's also like things like these Kokins, which are compact head 3/8 inch, and Snap-on makes similar ones. As far as I can tell, there's nothing like this coming. All the 3/8 inch Icons are going to have basically a similar head to this. The stubby might be slightly smaller. But yeah, so they're missing any kind of compact head. There's no stubby in a 1/2 inch. This is a Tone 1/2 inch in a stubby configuration with a small head. The other thing we don't know yet is the non-locking flex heads. This is an example of an indexed flex head where there's a detent ball, so it sort of semi-locks in position. And then there's examples of a totally non-locking flex head guess I don't, here's a non-locking flex head where there's, well, this one actually has detents too, but there would be no detents at all in a non-locking flex head. We really don't know what the new Icon G2 will be, the non-locking version, whether it'll be detent or just a totally smooth locking. What else is missing? There's nothing in the new Icon G2 lineup with these indexable heads. This is the snap-on version. And this is a, you know, a lovely ratchet where you can do sort of this push-pull action on it to ratchet in certain places. And Harbor Freight already makes a 1/4 inch and a 3/8 inch, or maybe it's a 3/8 inch and a 1/2 inch version of these. And they're kind of cool, but this is a Pittsburgh one, so the quality is not the same. So it would be kind of nice if Icon, you know, eventually released an indexable head. I think those are pretty cool. It would be a nice addition to the lineup. And they didn't introduce anything in a roto head or swivel head. These are some beautiful Ulsa ratchets. And again, you can get these in, I think Quinn and Pittsburgh both have the roto head, but nothing in Icon. So at any rate, 1/4 inch, stubby, extra small, small, long, and then in the 3/8 inch we have stubby. Obviously these are again not Icons. Stubby, there's no extra small in the 3/8. Stubby, something small would be about maybe this size. And then there's no medium. It goes small to large. And this is an example of a Capri. This is another locking flex head. This one has a push button lock on it. So there's a little bit different. Capri. And then this is the actual Icon. Long 3/8 inch locking flex head. And an Icon 3/8 inch non-flex head, extra long. And then in the 1/2 inch, nothing in the current Icon lineup. They'll be introducing what they call, you know, a small, or what I would call regular size, 1/2 inch. And also note that, you know, what a small or a long means in 1/2 inch in Harbor Freight Icon parlance isn't the same. 1/4 inch long is different than a 3/8 inch long is different than a 1/2 inch long. So this would be the 1/2 inch small, something about 10 inches, that size. And then I'm guessing that the 1/2 inch, and based on the pictures, the 1/2 inch long, which there's nothing available now in the Icon G2 lineup, is going to be something like this Die Hard, 17 inches. This is a good example of a non-indexing, non-locking flex head. It just is a free flex head. And honestly, I'm not quite sure why they felt the need to do that, because if you have the locking flex head, you can, on the Icon style, you can just unlock it. And there's your unlocking flex head. The only reason I can think of that they would introduce two versions, one locking and one non-locking, is either for cost reduction, you know, or for strength increase. And I'm not sure either of those are really going to be a big factor with the Icons. So at any rate, small, 1/2 inch, large, 1/2 inch, extra large. And this is a current Icon non-flex head, but they have this already in a flex head version. So 20 ratchets, a lot of different permutations. I'm sorry, 29 ratchets, 20 new ratchets, a lot of different permutations. And it'll be interesting to see. Here's that chart again, if you want to pause on it. And you can see the ones in red here are new. It's sorted by drive, 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch. They also have a new 3/4 inch. It's basically going to be the same exact ratchet as this, same length, but a little bit beefier head, maybe a beefier handle, and of course a 3/4 inch drive instead of 1/2 inch drive. Not something I'm going to need in my tool collection, but maybe you will. So 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch, 1/2 inch, all the red are new. And then you can see the comfort grip and the chrome grip. And then there's the non-locking, or non-flex head, flex head non-locking, and flex head locking. And then the lengths. So there's basically, you know, what they call stubby, extra short, short, long, extra long. And again, that differs. A long in 1/4 inch is not the same length as a long in 3/8 or 1/2 inch. So that's the Icon G2 ratchets. The other thing that they announced, and this is technically not an Icon product, but they announced some new 12-volt electric ratchets, long reach, similar to this Milwaukee. And I really like this Milwaukee, but you know, I'm all up for advancement and lower cost tools that are high quality. I think they should have named these Icon. You know, they probably would have gotten better sales if these were Icon to compete with the Snap-on version of this. But at any rate, there you go. No pricing, no availability on either the G2 ratchets or those new long reach sockets. Again, here's the pictures from SEMA. And they look similar, but you know, what you have is 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch, 1/2 inch. What else did they announce? They announced bold new colors, Icon screwdrivers in green. I am not, you know, I'm a mix and match kind of guy. I take the best of breed tools. I don't care who makes it, as long, you know, I like one set to be of a particular manufacturer, but beyond that, I'm good with mixing and matching. And I don't care if my tools are green or red or blue or purple. So, but there's plenty of people that do. So there's the purple one for you. And then the last thing that they announced that I wanted to point out is a new line of G2 toolboxes. I love this Icon box that I got. And it's a 25-inch deep box. And the new ones are going to be 30 inches deep to compete, you know, with the top of the line Snap-on and Mac and Matco. Now the interior drawer depth of this is 22 inches now. So if it's 25 inch, if it's 5 inches longer, it's going to go from 22 presumably to 27. The front and the back aren't going to be any thicker. So you're getting like a, you know, 22, 23% increase in toolbox size just in the depth. They also reconfigured the drawers a little bit. This one has 2 full-length drawers up on the top. So you have the 1 and the 2, and they went to a third one. So they eliminated this little third side drawer and gave you another full width drawer, which I like. I prefer the full width drawers. I'd rather do my own tool organization within the box rather than having separate drawers for stuff. So again, we got the Black Friday sale starting next week. And my guess is that with all these new Icon ratchets coming out, what they want to do is maybe, you know, purge their inventory of the G1 ratchets. And I think we probably haven't seen the last of the big sales on the Icon. They probably have pallets and pallets and, you know, freighters full of G1 ratchets. And they need to sell them all, because now these new G2 ratchets line that they're coming out with pretty much has every ratchet that's in the G1 line, with the exception of, you know, the roto heads, as I pointed out. No roto heads, and there aren't Icon G1 roto heads. Don't know if they'll eventually release those or not. But you might see more, but 40% off is still a pretty good deal. Definitely pick up some G2 ratchets. Maybe pick up some G1 ratchets during the 40% off sale if you want. And let me know whether you think you'd like to see Icon come out with things like this 1/2 inch stubby flex head, small head ratchet, and what you think of the new G2 lineup. And that is today's SEMA update. Like and subscribe if you want to see SEMA updates continuing this week. And we are out.